जय मसी। अहिले विश्वको ध्यान रसिया र युक्रेनतिर खिचिएको छ। मानिसहरूको मनमा अब तेस्रो विश्वयुद्ध हुन लागेको हो कि भन्ने शंका पनि उब्जिएको छ। रसिया धेरै शक्तिशाली राष्ट्र हो, ठुलो छ। युक्रेन सानो छ, रसिया भन्दा धेरै नै कमजोर छ। रसियाले लगातार युक्रेनमाथि आक्रमण गरिराखेको छ अनि युक्रेनमा कयौं मानिसहरू मरिसके। 30-35 जना भन्दा बढी त बालबालिकाहरूको नै मृत्यु भएको छ यो युद्धको कारण।
And here too, after an early morning strike on a block of flats near Kyiv's Giuliani airport, the authorities here say it was a Russian missile strike that killed 2 people. It could have been many more, but plenty of locals had fled or taken cover in shelters. Yuri Shevchuk, who lives nearby, says the West must help Ukraine. And so, much of Kyiv now looks like this, still standing, but bracing for impact. Arms, forming volunteer brigades to defend the city alongside the local police.
While the UN Security Council was meeting to avert war, explosions thundered and flashed across Ukraine early Thursday as Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his forces to attack the country after weeks of failed diplomacy and a massive military buildup intended to recast the map of Eastern Europe. The move was a stunning if expected play from a leader who for weeks has massed troops on Ukraine's borders while brandishing threatening rhetoric and snubbing world leaders. The latest incursion shatters decades of relative peace in Europe and is certain to elicit a forceful response from the US and NATO. Both Washington and its transatlantic allies have promised to impose even harsher sanctions than those enacted just days ago. The region of Ukraine was unbowed and belligerent, warning other countries to stay out of the conflict. Whoever tries to impede us, let alone create threats for our country and its people, must know that the Russian response will be immediate and lead to the consequences you have never seen in history. With other world leaders on Thursday to discuss a response. The prayers of the entire world are with the people of Ukraine tonight as they suffer an unprovoked and unjustified attack by Russian military forces, Biden said. President Putin has chosen a premeditated war that will bring a catastrophic loss of life and human suffering. Russia alone is responsible for the death and destruction this attack will bring, and the United States and its allies and partners will respond in a united and decisive way. The world will hold Russia accountable. The Russian operation was a blatant affront to diplomacy, and the United Nations Security Council, which was meeting at the urging of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to stop an invasion that increasingly appeared inevitable, with an estimated 190,000 Russian soldiers nearly encircling the former Soviet Republic. Missiles struck military airfields and depots in cities across Ukraine, including the capital, Kyiv, which was still recovering from a series of earlier cyber attacks on government ministries and banks. Unfortunately, while we've been meeting in the Security Council tonight, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, at the exact time as we are gathered in the Council seeking peace, Putin delivered a message of war, in total disdain for the responsibility of this Council. The attack rattled Europe and stirred memories not only of the Cold War but also of World War II. It symbolized Putin's long mistrust of NATO and the West and his ambition to stitch back together remnants of the former Soviet Union. And it raised the specter of how the West, let alone Ukraine, would handle a possible humanitarian and refugee crisis while countering a powerful Russian army that possesses an arsenal of conventional hardware and nuclear weapons. Putin had announced that the attack was intended to disarm Ukraine, not take it over. But what was unfolding through the early morning hours was a much larger operation. Traffic in Kyiv was clogged as many tried to flee. Commercial airspace over Ukraine was shut down. Zelensky, who hours earlier had pleaded with the Russian leader in a bid to prevent war, said in a video posted online that President Putin announced a special military operation in Donbass. Russia performed strikes on our military infrastructure and our border guard units. In many cities of Ukraine, people heard the blasts. Today we need each of you to stay calm. If you can, stay at home. We are working. The army is working. The whole security and defense sector of Ukraine is working. The White House released a statement on a call between Biden and the Ukrainian leader. President Zelensky reached out to me tonight, and we just finished speaking. I condemn this unprovoked and unjustified attack by Russian military forces. The statement added that Biden will meet Thursday with the leaders of the G7, and the United States and our allies and partners will be imposing severe sanctions on Russia. We will continue to provide support and assistance to Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. Earlier Wednesday, the Biden administration stiffened economic sanctions targeting Moscow, and the Ukrainian president made a televised appeal for peace in a dramatic last-minute effort to avert war in Eastern Europe.
भरका विश्वासीहरूले युक्रेनको सुरक्षाको लागि युक्रेन र रुस बीच भइरहेको युद्ध बन्द भएको होस् भन्नको लागि, ती क्षेत्रमा शान्ति स्थापना भएको होस् भन्नको लागि प्रार्थना गरेका छन्। यस्तो अवस्थामा हामी नेपाली विश्वासीहरूको ध्यान पनि त्यतातिर खिचिनु स्वाभाविकै हो। बाइबलले भन्दछ, तिमीहरू पल्लो छेउसम्म मेरा गवाही हुनेछौ। हामीले हाम्रो देशमा बसेर गरेको प्रार्थनाको कारण युक्रेनमा शान्ति स्थापना भएको होस्। आउनुहोस् हामी रसिया र युक्रेनको युद्ध बन्द भएको होस्, ती क्षेत्रमा शान्ति स्थापना भएको होस् भनिकन प्रार्थना गरौँ। देशमा हामी प्रभुको हस्तक्षेप मागौँ, प्रभुबाटको शान्ति त्यो ठाउँमा खनिएको होस्, चाँडोभन्दा चाँडो दुई देशको बिचमा वार्ता भएको होस् र चाँडोभन्दा चाँडो युद्ध विराम भइकन शान्ति स्थापना भएको होस् भनिकन हामी प्रार्थना गरौँ। हाम्रो प्रार्थनाले, विश्वभर रहेका विश्वासीहरूको प्रार्थनाले त्यो देशमा शान्ति स्थापना भएको होस्। जर्मनीमा ठुलो सङ्ख्यामा युक्रेनको पक्षमा मानिसहरू सडकमा उत्रिएका छन्। हामीलाई सडकमा उत्रिन नपर्ला, तर हामी जहाँ जहाँ छौँ घरमै बसेर युक्रेनमा शान्ति स्थापनाको लागि प्रार्थना गरौँ। जय मसीह।
Has spilled onto the streets. Video shows a missile striking an apartment building early Saturday morning.